In this video, I'm going to be showing how to do a lot of the basic functions on GlobalPrayerFinal.org. So to start, you'll go to your URL and then you'll type in /wp-admin and you'll put in the username and password that we give you. And once you put that in, you'll be logged in, and this is where all the things take place. So I'm just going to go down the items here on the left-hand side in this black panel. Under updates, this is where your plugins are that build and make your website function. We regularly update all plugins and themes for all of our sites. We go through those a couple times a month. So if you never want to worry about this, you don't have to, or you can select them and update them as you see and as is needed. Moving on, posts would be if you were using blog posts, which I don't believe that you currently are. If that's something you want to set up later, let us know. We can help you with that. But for now, there's nothing there. Moving on to media. This is where all of the images or any PDFs or logos, anything like that, is located in here. So you can see them. You can get the URL for the image items, whatever here. But anytime you need to access your media library within some of these other items, those will be available. So you don't ever need to come to this media library, but it's there just so that you know. So we'll move on to forms. And you have 3 forms. The contact form for your homepage, and then a prayer mentor interest form, and then this prayer inventory is the questions, like the test that we've got people taking for you, the survey. So basically, if you ever want to update your contact form, you can come in here, and if you ever want to add more fields to this, like if you want to add a phone number or address, or if you wanted to add something like these buttons here where it says so you could click on it and say, how did you hear about us? And then you can say, and you can add items or you can subtract items. You can make it a required field. You can drag these and put them in other places, or you can delete it. And you can just leave it the same way. You'd always click update if you needed to change anything. And your prayer mentor form here kind of functions exactly the same way. So that's how I used radio buttons to create that, and added this paragraph text item, and then you can change the field label to say whatever you want. So these ones are ones you might want to change, and you can preview the form to see how it looks. It doesn't have the formatting of your site, but it does show you just kind of what it generally would look like, and that's sometimes helpful. And the other thing you want to know is where the entries for these forms are. So you can click there, and then it's going to put all the entries all together. But if you go to forms, and then underneath, if you click entries, then you'll see your entries there, and you can view them for each specific form. And you can also see under settings, notifications is another thing you'll want to look at. And right now, don't have that set up to send to anyone. Let's look at this one. So this one, anytime someone submits a form, it's going to send to you at this email here. So I'll go ahead and set up the other one to do the same thing. So how I would do that is click on notifications, and then I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to click here to edit it, and we'll go ahead and put your email there, and then we'll want to send it to this email. And then that's all I need to do, because it's going to send all those fields from that form to your email. And so if you ever want to change change that on any of your forms, you're more than welcome to. And this one has an auto reply, which we set up as you were wanting, where it says the message that you gave us. And I'm going to go ahead and make one that sends to you on this form as well. So you now know how to do that if you ever want to change anything. And so now these will all go to that email as well. So those are the main things there. If you end up having any problems with your inventory, that we built for you, I'm not going to go over that in this video, but if you end up having any problems or questions on that, feel free to contact us and we can deal with that as those problems arise, if any do. So we'll move on to pages. These are just all of your internal pages here with the information on them. And it basically works like any word processing I think downloads is an empty page right now and it's going to load. It's taking a minute. But basically just works, like any word processing program like Microsoft Word. So I can change this to a different size text if I want. I can bold, italicize it. I can make a bulleted list, can make a numbered list. I can center the text or align it differently. I can add photos into the page. I can add the form that you created. You can add it to this page. If you wanted to add the contact form, you just take away the title and the description, so you don't want that in there, and just the form, and it'll put the short code there for you. And any changes you want to make, you'll just click update. And as you click on, if you're logged in already, and if you look through your pages, you can see there's a little edit button at the bottom, and you can see here. So it'll take you right there, right where you need to go, and you can edit anything and just click update as you see changes that you want to make. And I think the other thing I was going to show you on pages is so this page, for this one, you're going to see that there's some short code here, which just makes these items show up in columns, so in half. And if you ever wanted to add items to these churches served, you'll just want to take notice of where these short code items are. And so you'll want to add, either you'll want to keep the same amount on either side of the column or close to it, and just take notice how it's done. So this is at the beginning, these two are in the middle, and this one's at the end. And if you just take notice of that. If you ever add or update anything on this page, you should be able to replicate just how it was done on the other parts of the page. So you can see how that's done. But if you end up running into a problem or you can't figure out how to fix it, we can show you how to do that. And this page has a featured image. So at the top there was a image, and that can be changed here, and you just would click on it, and then it'll let you choose from any of these images, or you can upload. And if you ever want to hyperlink anything, so let's say you want to hyperlink this to this website for something, you would just click here, and then you would type in the link, and click right there, and it'll turn it into a hyperlink, or you can remove the link. And those are the main things I think I've seen on your pages that is good for you to know. And you can always click here to see what the page looks like so that you can see what your changes look like. And yeah, so let's move on to testimonials. And these show up on, I want to go to the home page. These show up on the home page down. Maybe we didn't end up using them. Yeah, I think maybe we didn't end up using these. Probably by your request. So if you end up wanting to use testimonials, we can show you how to add those. But you're not using them right now, so we'll just move on to homepage areas. So basically, homepage areas are everything that you would expect. It's these different sections on your homepage. So they're given a title, and the first one is the slider, which is just this slider here, and all that's in this is just shortcode. So I'll show you in a minute how to use Revolution slider, but for now it's just shortcode for that. And if you'll notice here, they're not in the right order. They're not in the same order they are on the homepage. That's done under this reorder section here, and you can drag them to put them in a different order. But obviously we've set it up to look nice so that you've got white in between. And if you want to change the order, you are more than welcome to, but obviously you like the way it looks now, so you just, if you want to change it, you can, but just be aware that it could change the flow and the look of the site. So the next one is our mission. So if you look at this mission one, it's got everything is centered. We've got this in a nice big heading one. This learn more is hyperlinked into the page, the Who We Are page, and then it's formatted as a button. And if you scroll down, you'll see this is where the formatting is done. And so this, you always want to click yes on padding so that there's padding around and you can see there's space in between. And so for this one, we've just got a white background. So for our services, let's look at this one. And it's done basically the same way. So everything is going to be centered, and it's going to have heading 1 to make that big header. My computer's taking a long time to load today. So we've got these items here, but this is all going to be formatted as white text because we've put it over the top of some color. And so if you scroll down, then you can see in the background, we've got a stock image there, and you can change that by uploading files or choosing a different file from your media library. And then we've put a background color over the top, and this changes how much the color is transparent. And like I said, padding is always checked yes on that. And so the same thing basically is done here. There's a button, there's a picture in the background, and some color over the top. And then I believe Prayer Mentor, this is just going to have your form in it. So like I said, you add the form by wherever your cursor is, you select your form. Don't want to display these, and wherever your cursor is, it's going to put it there. So, and then if you scroll down, it's got a color in the background, and you can change that if you would like, and always click update. So just for the sake of showing you kind of how to do this, I'm going to show you just so here's how I would do this. I'm going to center everything, make this larger. I'm going to make this a hyperlink. I'm going to format it as a button, And I'm going to come down here, and I just want this to be a white one, so I'm going to check padding yes. I'm going to click publish, and then I'll refresh here, and it's going to probably show up just at the very top. So that's how that works. And if I wanted to, like I said, add a picture in the background, then all I would do is just choose a photo, select a color, put over the top of it, and then I'm going to want to make all of this white text. So then I will refresh, and there you go. So that's how you do that, and then I'm going to go ahead and delete that because you don't want that on your website. So we'll just get rid of it. And everything you get rid of can eventually be restored if you'd like. So you can either restore it or delete permanently. So we'll move on to staff members. And for your site, you just have the one staff member here. And this is where you can edit the position, the title, the name, any of this information here, or the photo. And so done same way you would do anything, and then click update. And if you ever wanted to add a new, you just click add new, put the name in there, and fill in all this information as it applies and as you have it. And then you would reorder it here like you did with the homepage areas, and you could just drag them to wherever you would like. And let's move on. So we're not going to talk about any of these things. This is your theme for your website. So we don't need to worry about anything there. Under appearance, there's two items we want to look at. Widgets and menus. So we'll start with widgets. So we have your logo and the name, which is hyperlinked to the home page, and the custom menu here. So we've created a menu, which I'll talk about in just a minute. And this just allows for there to be those homepage areas. And so under in the footer, we have this contact us form. And so if you ever, let's say, create a new form that you want to add there, then you can create a new form and add it by selecting a different form here. It might not look the same. We've done some formatting to make that look nice and good. And so you will just want to let us know if you end up doing something that doesn't look the way that you thought it would. Just want to be careful and know that going in. And then if your phone number or address or email changes, and this is just hyperlinked with the words mail to and an ellipses in front of it, if any of that changes, that's that information in the footer here. And then these other two items are set up as menus. And so if you do make any changes, you'll just want to click save. And we've got your Facebook menu and your custom regular menu. And so if you ever wanted to add other things, you add them by selecting where you'd like them to go. But if you change anything in widgets, it's going to change and going to need some formatting. So if you end up needing something different in the footer and you need help with that, let us know and we'll see what we can do. We should be able to help you with that, but just know that if you make a lot of changes here, it could affect what it looks like. So moving on to menus, there are two menus. So this is your main menu, and all of these have, these are just your pages on your site. And so these just don't link anywhere. They're set up so that when you click on them, they don't take you anywhere. They're just a heading. So if you ever create a new page, then it's going to show up over here, or you can say view all, or you can search for it. And then whatever page you created, you can add it to the menu, and then you can make it a sub-menu item, or you can put it wherever you want. You can change what it's called. So if you give the page a name, but you want to change the label of it, you can change that, and you can remove it. And you would always click save. And for the social media menu that shows up in the footer, right now you only have Facebook, but basically if you ever wanted to add something else, like if you have Twitter and you want to add it, you would just add a custom link and just basically replicate what you see here. So you would put your Twitter URL here, whatever that would be, so, and then / whatever it is, and then you would just copy and paste this, and then instead of saying Facebook, you would say Twitter or whatever form of social media you're using. You'd add it to the menu, and you could obviously move it wherever you want. And always click save. And that's it for menus. Plugins, that's what we use to update your site and build your site. And so if you want to add plugins, you can. If you have questions about that, you can let us know. Users, that's where I'm going to create a login for you, and this is where you can change your password. So you can come in here and change your password here. And then you would always just click update profile. Tools, settings, custom fields, SEO. I'm not going to talk about any of that. I don't think that's anything you really need. The calculated fields form, that's going to be what's helping create the survey, the inventory that you have. So if you have questions about that, let us know. I'm not going to go over that in detail on this video. And duplicator we use to launch your site. The next thing we want to talk about is slider revolution, and that's what creates this slider at the top of your page. So if you want to know the short code that's used for this, you can find it right here, or you can find it under slider settings right here and get the code right there. And it can go wherever you want. It just might not look right. So right now it's on the home page. Obviously, that's what it's for. So we'll scroll down and you can see we have picture in the background, and that's chosen through Media Library right there. You can choose any picture you have. You can upload a new picture. And then this, if you click on these items, you can see the font, you can see the size of the text, you can see the font weight, the color, and you can change any of that if you would like. And if you want to change the wording, just double click on it and it's going to show up right there, and you change it by typing it in there and clicking the green arrow when you're done. Or you can click there and you can see the different elements. So you've got a line here that you can change the length of. And as you make changes, you'll just want to go through each of these screens to make sure that on each screen size, mobile and tablet, that it looks good and it looks right and looks the way that you want it and it fits within these bounds. And so it looks like, there's some animation on each of these words as well, and that's formatted through animation, and you can change any of these items. You can change the timing. The timing of them is changed through here, so this is how long it lasts. And you can see what order they come out in and flip over in. And so you can play around with any of that if you want to change it. But I'm thinking you're probably maybe just going to want to change the wording. Or let's say you want to create a new slide. What my advice would be is to duplicate a slide and then just change it how it already is. So you could click duplicate right there, and then if you click on this little red, it's gonna not show up until you click the green, so it doesn't show up on the home page while you're working on it. And what you could do is go in the media library and just change the background photo and then change the wording. And so obviously not all photos work because it's kind of hard to read on there, and so you can change the wording to say whatever you want. You could mess around with any of those things, and then you just click save at each screen size as you make changes. And under Ken Burns, you can see this is what creates that zooming effect in the background. So it looks like some of the photos are zooming in and some are zooming out. And that's created through changing these numbers here. And you can view that and see how that looks. There, you can change the background position of the photo to move it around to see if it looks better up in a different corner. Something like that. You can see how the animation looks. And you can, like I said, change the color if you'd like to change the color of the text. You always want to make sure that the font size and line height are the same, or that the line height is greater. You're going to probably want to keep the same font throughout just to make it look nice. And if you want to delete a slide, you would just delete. Oh, I want to delete this one. So I actually wasn't editing the one that I said not to appear. So just got to be careful that you do what you're meaning to do. And so now it's all back to normal and looks right. And so if you have any more questions, you can create new slides if you'd like. You can let us know. But I think that's the main things on there. And I don't think that you're using Google Maps for anything. No, you're not. So that's the main things. If you end up having questions, I think another thing you were wanting to do is add videos here. And so let me go ahead and show you what you're probably going to want to do here is if you have videos, there's probably either going to be an embed code, or I don't know if you're using, Vimeo or YouTube. You're going to, so whatever your video is, there is a share button, and you're going to get the embed code. You'll copy it, and then you're going to want to go in the text side of your editor here and add it there. And so there's an embed code for videos on any site, Vimeo or YouTube or wherever, and then it's going to show up how you want, like that. And then you can change the width of the video. You can make it 100% to make it full width, and then you can change the height to make it how you think would look good, and then click update. So that's how you're going to want to add video. And if you have any more questions about that, you can let us know. But I remember you saying that one time, so I just wanted to make sure you felt like prepared and knew how to do that. So other than that, I think you've got everything that you need to know. And if you, like I said, if you have questions, let us know. But I think those are the main things that'll help you get going with your site.